Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Dawnbringers, Heart of Nightfang Spire, Season 4, Episode 20, Grave Danger. We are going to continue in just a moment with the adventures of the Dawnbringers as they are growing ever closer to their goal, which for some appears to be to get as close to death as possible without actually dying. Not looking to point any fingers other than V, who's pointing directly at Jeremy. You'll have to watch last week's episode to see just how close that was. Right off the bat, I've been talking about this for weeks and weeks, and I see that Nuka DeLuca is in chat. So I would like everybody to spam the chat right now with emotes in honor of Nuka DeLuca, who gave me the parts list and kind of talked me through everything to build the Minotaur, which we are now streaming on. And for the first time in months, it's error-free. And I feel like it's actually in the resolution it's supposed to be. And I'm monitoring all kinds of technical stuff, and things are going the way they're supposed to go. So huge thank you to Nuka DeLuca, who is just a wonderful human being. I've had the opportunity to talk to them a few times, and unsolicited knew I was having problems and sent me some specs. He went through, picked all the parts out, and then helped me to revise them a little bit. Was on deck to help me build it remotely, even though I chose to be stubborn, take a little longer, and do it all myself. So thank you, Nuka DeLuca. Greatly appreciated. And the community thanks you, because now I'll stop complaining about how terrible my computer is. And for a little while, everybody's got to hear me gloat about how awesome the computer is. I am very happy with it. Very pleased with how everything is going and how I'm able to start building these bigger productions. So thank you for that. Thank you to everybody for spamming the chat in Nuka DeLuca's honor. We're going to get going here in just a moment. I'm going to hit y'all with some regular, usual announcements, and then a couple of irregular, unusual announcements. I got a couple announcements coming about some things coming up. First off, as always, take a look down in the lower left-hand corner of the stream, just below our good friend Yesferatu. You will see the Jasper's Game Day logo, the Initiative Coffee logo, and the Talon and Claw logo. If you type !Jasper in the chat, you will have a direct donation link where you can donate to Jasper's Game Day. Mini Terrain Domain is proudly partnered with Jasper's Game Day on a permanent basis. We work closely with them a couple times a year to bring Jasper's Game Week and other events. This organization is dedicated to raising awareness, educating people, and ultimately preventing suicide through tabletop gaming. And they do a tremendous job with that. And it's just amazing to have so many people in the community that come out to support Jaspers on their own in small ways, but even in bigger ways for these big events. I see Michaela Sims in the chat. Welcome. Ran some games, as did Dan and myself, for the recent Jaspers Con, where they raised over $50,000 in a multi-streaming event. All of that money going to benefit things like the suicide hotlines you see at the bottom of the stream and throughout our streams. Another way that you can help Jaspers and get a little something for yourself is Initiative Coffee's help action, where we've partnered with them to bring you Metade roast coffee. Absolutely delicious. Big Bearded Nerd and I personally selected the roast. You can pick up a bag, and for every 12-ounce bag that you purchase, $3 of that is going to benefit Jasper's Game Day. If you type !MTD Claw in the chat, you can see a link to our sponsor, Talon and Claw. Talon and Claw is just an incredible company that makes fine dice vaults, such as this lovely dice vault here, dice trays, hero vaults, DM screens, all kinds of wonderful wooden accessories for your gaming table. You can click that link, go check out, pick out your favorite stuff, and put MTD Claw as your promo code, and you'll get 10% off your order and help to promote, or not promote, to support the channel by doing that. So please be sure to check them out. Talon and Claw is also going to feature in one of the irregular, unusual announcements in just a moment. Huge shout out, of course, to D&D Beyond, who has granted us insider access, which is why I use D&D Beyond to run 90% of my games, and to run with the encounter builder. It just makes it so easy to track initiative, run the encounters, and you can mouse over the stream, of course, and you can see everybody's characters. I'm looking to make sure that it's actually the right overlay is up. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think Dan's only had it work for him once in the last several months.
We are non-functional tonight. I checked.
But I just looked, and I can see that because of the long rest, everybody's all back in the green with their hit points. Just one of the many things you can track through that. So a couple of quick announcements of the irregular and unusual variety. Over on and I keep forgetting the actual channel that this is on, so I'm going to try to vamp a moment while I look this up. I am going to be do it this way. I'm going to be doing producing some charity events this weekend. There we go. A couple of charity games that are being run by Gary from Real Fort Nerd. They are taking place on twitch.tv/Team Squad Up. A lot of wonderful people in the community that are all a part of this thing called Quest for the Cure, which all of the money raised during this is going to benefit research for Duchenne muscular dystrophy, which is a disease that affects primarily children. It is almost always, as I understand it, is almost always fatal by the time they reach their teenage years, and there is currently no cure. So these two games happening at 12:30 Eastern and again at 8 p.m. Eastern, I believe, are going to be taking place over on that Team Squad Up Twitch channel. Additionally, Gary, yes, Tamiko, Gary is the same Gary from the Talon and Claw Sunday night Sea of Thieves pirate game streams. On Sunday, we are setting sail 2 hours early. We're going to be sailing for 4 hours, doing some epic treasure hunts, continuing to raise money to benefit the quest for the cure. And there's going to be lots of great giveaways. This takes place on Anthony's channel, Anthony from Talon and Claw, who is our resident shoot himself out of a cannon towards the enemy to attempt to anchor them and sink them, and almost always gets killed within 3 seconds of boarding the enemy ship. But I also have a reputation for blowing myself and others up accidentally. So you can tune into Talon and Claw on Sunday nights to catch that as well. And actually, I do believe that D&D Jordan is going to be moderating the chat for us during that time as well. So you can catch them over there as well. All right. I have just one more thing to say before we play some Dungeons and Dragons, and that is this. You matter. We say it all the time, but it's important. It's no less important than the time I say it now for the 100th time than the first time. We mean it no less. We mean it each time when we say it. You matter. it can be a struggle. Sometimes you don't believe it. Sometimes you question it. But you need to know that you matter and your presence on this earth makes a difference. But it can be hard. That's why we have made it so that you can come here to Mini Terrain Domain anytime, day or night, whether we're streaming or not. And you can type !help in the chat. And you will see, as Jeremy has just done, a few phone numbers and text numbers will pop up for the National Suicide Lifeline, the Canada Crisis Text Line, the Canada Suicide Prevention Services line, and a hyperlink that will take you to opencounseling.com/suicide-hotlines. And there you will find phone numbers and text numbers for countries all around the world. So no matter where you are in the world, there is help available for you. You'll also see that number as it is now cycle through the bottom of our stream throughout our games. So we just want you to know that. We care about you, and we believe that you matter, and we want you to believe that as well. I lied when I said that was the last thing, because I forgot to mention all of those lovely red dice up above Dan and V's head. The domain dice. You can, I believe, type domain dice, yes, as Jeremy has just done. You can see how you can, in fact, I'm going to owe you some, because I see that there's been a gift of a subscription as well as a resubscription of, looks like I owe you 3 domain dice. Subscriptions, resubscriptions, 500-bit cheers. I locked up for a second. I lost my words. That's 4. Looks like there was another continuation. Tips. That's what it was. $5 tips. They all purchase domain dice. It's a way that you, the viewer, can affect the game. And it was how ultimately the Death Tyrant was defeated. Thorgarn had a couple of successful hits, spent 10 domain dice to turn those hits into super criticals. And after the stream, we reviewed the damage and realized that Thorgarn, with his double super crits, had actually done 176 points of damage to the Death Tyrant, ending its unlife. Okay, I'm struggling to keep up with what's going on here. D&D Jordan is resubbing. Todd Kenrick just subbed.
It's a hype train!
Yeah, there's a hype train going on. So I want to make sure I give you all of the ones that I owe you. Which looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tamiko just cheers. So this is what happens when domain dice come. So you guys are at currently 6 extra domain dice right now. So I'm gonna bump this one here up to 115, and then I'm gonna take away a couple of these. Wait, yeah, that should be right. Yes. You went... No, that's not right, because you were at 115. See, I can do math. 121. You were at 115. You got 6 domain dice. See, that's how easy it is to do that. And then there was just another gifted sub. Somebody keep track of that for me so I can start running this game. We'll make sure you get your... Yeah, V won't let him go by. V is the keeper of the domain dice as they reside in that section of the overlay. But see how easy it is to get them all of this amazing help that, believe me, they're going to need it. Okay. I'm currently caught up with the most recent gifts, and thank you all so much for your support on the stream. We greatly appreciate that, both the way you support the players and your support through bits and subscriptions. Now, Dawnbringers, you, of course, have been making your way through the catacombs looking for, you were told that there were 4 pieces of dragon keys that you needed to find in order to get into the core of Nightfang Spire. And in order to continue on your quest and ultimately, as I believe Jeremy may have said on Twitter, that Gulthias has seen his last sunrise or sunset. You're about to bring the dawn. We'll see how that works as you continue along. But you found 3 of the key pieces. You hit into a very deadly location that was almost fatal for Talmud, facing off against numerous specters, a death kiss, and ultimately a death tyrant that was just hitting all of you with enervation rays and just unbelievable. Let's put it this way: Talmud was within 5 points of dying. It was just one bad dice roll away from permanent death. Okay, that's what I was waiting for that to get to a number that I could just add 5 to it. There's been 5 more domain dice in the few seconds that I've been talking. Yeah, so for 2 weeks in a row, the room count for the Dawnbringers was 0. And no, Leomund's tiny hut doesn't count as a room. But they are the Deathbringers. Nope, the Dawnbringers. The Dawnbringers are.
Yes,
I vote for a change of name.
The Dawnbringers are
Deathbringers
resting.
has a ring.
They are resting. They have finally gotten to take advantage of a long rest, even though there are numerous undead shambling about at the base of this abyss. You've seen the door that leads to the far side and will ultimately continue on your way. But we are going to pick up in somewhere, just we'll say it's within this rest, and when you guys are done, if you have any discussions or plans or anything you want to do, then we'll come out of the rest and you can proceed. So Dawnbringers, what would you like to do?
So did the people who were hit with the enervation ray still manage to get the effects of healing?
The enervation ray was not what was causing the inability to heal. You ultimately would have figured out that it was the Death Tyrant with its central eye was creating a necrotic shroud or a necrotic field, and everything within its field of vision could not regain hit points. That went away as soon as you destroyed it.
Excellent.
So yes, everybody is able to take advantage of any normal healing, regardless of what effects you were under. I think 2 more have come in. It's like the audience wants the Dawnbringers to succeed or something. Whoops. That's
and it was also pointed out by a particular person who's got specialty with the rules that the couple strikes put on by Thorgarn actually were under-recorded for damage. It should have been another 32 points.
Yep, I accounted for that when I said you did 170 something points.
Oh, I thought, okay.
Because you originally did 146 was the total you counted out. It was actually 178, I think, was the actual total.
You're so smart.
So you are in your rest. You have to figure out how you're going to proceed with what you're doing. All right. I'm just going to keep doing this. Thank you so much. Thank you, Todd Kenrick, for gifting, looks like 5 more subscriptions. It's like Gulthias is just going to surrender if you guys get over. We've never gone over 155, which is what I have numbers set for. Every time I challenge,
that sounds more like a goal than a challenge.
Remember when I set the goal, or I set the highest number was, we're all set to go up to like 30. Okay, Dawnbringers, it's your show, your rest, your tiny hut.
No, it's my tiny hut, not theirs.
What would you like to do?
I'm wondering if anybody answered my javelin question.
That's right. We ended because Gerithan.
Since this is sequel to the sequel.
Well, you were passed out. Gerithan took a bunch of your your javelins and tried to fight the Death Tyrant with them, and that was the last thing that we saw after right before the credits finished rolling was Griveth saying, "Hey, where'd all my javelins go?"
They fell into the pit when you passed out.
Exactly. When you say that, Gerithan was kind of like leaning up against the edge with his eyes closed, and he just opens one eye, closes it.
Cantriel gives like a quick subtle wink.
Well, that was unlucky.
At the eye that's not facing Griveth, so we didn't get the wrong idea.
I'll have to secure those better.
Yes, you might want to latch them or something.
Yeah.
Drown is behind Cantriel, sort of hunched down in the dome, and is like opening his mouth to speak, and then just like puts his hand down and just stays quiet.
Standing perfectly straight at his, super miniature height. Thorgarn's like, well, I've got, javelins that I don't really use anymore. He kind of like, lightly tosses Forge Fane up a little bit. If you want these, you can have them. I got 4 javelins. They're yours if you want them.
Oh, thank you, brother. That would replace them. Yes, thank you.
There you go. See? Share and share alike. Everything's good. Nothing to worry about.
Now I can get back to sleep.
Cantriel would look over her shoulder to Drown and just sort of mutter, if we told him where they were, he'd go and get them.
That would be exceedingly foolish. You're correct.
What are you laughing at, Dwarf?
I was going to say Griveth, but Dan covered that. Yeah, I think Talmud is probably he's probably like just basically laid down off to one side, just kind of again fallen into being quiet.
Cantriel would go over and just sort of sit next to him. And again, quiet for her, which she is capable of doing. You just don't see it often. How much do you remember of what you saw?
What I saw when?
Of the big beastie with the floating eyes and everything.
I remember it appearing and reaching for my weapon, but that's about it, honestly. Once the ancestors come, I don't remember much, honestly.
Who was that, by the way? That was a new one.
Not sure. I think it was
loud, obnoxious, a little crazed. Don't say me.
I think Talmud will kind of stifle a laugh a little. He shakes his head. He says, "No, I imagine that was Cousin Torkenfell. He enjoys pain, his and others. It's not very fun to be around." Sorry,
well, I mean, not to get too intrusive, but do they tend to keep what they remember to themselves, or do they share it with you?
Sometimes I can remember bits and pieces afterwards, almost like trying to remember a dream when you wake up. But it's fleeting and foggy like that, And not all of them are as willing to share as others. And truthfully, sometimes I'm thankful for it.
But you don't have access to their memories or any of their experiences?
There's times where I feel like I remember things that I shouldn't. Bits and pieces of things, almost like they're bleeding over, Sometimes it's hard to tell what's mine and what's theirs,
Well, if you ever need a reality check, just ask. I'm happy to provide.
I find it very odd, cousin, that we seem to have so many similarities, and yet when the ancestors show up for battle, for me they're just there, but for you, they kind of do more than just aid. They guide, they control.
Truth be told, I wish I understood it better myself, Thorgarn, but I'm at a loss, honestly.
Perhaps this should be something to study. I know that's not really your thing.
I saw that,
Oh.
dwarf.
No, I don't know. You know, sometimes if you go looking for answers, sometimes you might not like what you find.
I would rather have the answers than not seek them.
Well, as you said, Thorgarn, there are many, many splendid differences between us, cousin.
And I revel at our differences. They're to be celebrated. I am just glad that we were able to fell that beastie. It seemed a tough fight. Many of us were getting close to the edge. Do you know what cousin did for Gerithan there?
No. He kind of looks at Gerithan, almost like he's ready to offer an apology.
Gerithan will open his eyes as he's just kind of sitting there resting. Kind of looks over. You saved my life.
Well, good. I'm thankful that I was able to do that, Gerithan.
I thank you.
Hopefully it didn't cause any trouble.
No, I mean, this is what happened. The creature seized Gerithan with its eye ray and dropped him down into the pit. And with half a second's thought, cousin leapt over the edge, diving into that mess of undead, wrapped Gerithan in your cloak, and ported back up.
That's the long of it.
Well, I suppose I should be thankful that he remembered to use the cloak then. Otherwise, we both would have been in a bit of trouble.
Aye.
It was quite heroic.
Well, not to be the bearer of bad news, but I mean this old thing, and she'll like knock her knuckle against the side of the dome. It'll stick around for 8 hours, but what do you want to do once it's gone?
Speaking of that ravine, there was a tunnel on the far side down at the bottom, was there not?
Aye.
I don't recall any other places to go that we've seen yet, other than the sealed door. I think we have to go down there to find the last fragment of the key.
Certainly an effective way to protect the last piece.
It's almost like someone dastardly designed a dungeon just to thwart us.
Yes.
Almost.
There are hundreds of those corpses down there. How are we going to deal with that?
No offense to Gerithan, but it's times like this that really miss Fig. Those fireballs were always impressive.
Side note, Jake, how far was it from the edge where we're at to that tunnel entrance down in the ravine?
So what you're remembering as a tunnel is actually a door.
Door. There we go.
And it is
Damn doors.
right. Of course, it's going to be a door. It's about
Doors conceal rooms.
It's about 100 feet.
100 feet? All right.
Yep.
All right. And I assume it was swarmed with zombies.
Most of the floor space is swarmed with zombies and skeletons, and at least 3 morgues that you know are down there. And who knows what else. Gerithan,
No morgues.
can you roll me a insight check at disadvantage, please?
I can. Oh, man. All right, 11.
Carry on.
Well, at least we know we definitely want to do this, right?
I don't think we have a choice.
Unless we would be turning back. I don't
I
see that
can't.
happening.
I can't
Exactly.
turn it back.
No.
Jake, any of the braziers and stuff that you have described that we've come past, were they all like coal fed, or were any of them like oil fed?
Every brazier, you only passed a couple of braziers, actually. Most of this
Okay.
place has been dark.
Okay.
In fact, the last place that you passed that had any kind of brazier in it was the fire pit in the room where you
Hags
fought
room.
the hags.
Okay.
And that was
Okay.
a coal and wood fire.
Hmm.
If we can get even a momentary clear space, I can get us all down to the floor safely. But I'm not sure.
Well, Griveth, sometimes when you hold your shield aloft and say the kinds of things you say, sometimes these creatures seem to back away from you.
They do fear me. We could go down to the door, and I could hold off as many as possible.
We might
Perhaps
be
we
able to
could make
form...
an area we could hold out long enough to get in.
Thorgarn and I could hold on either side of Griveth, trying to make a wall.
A bulwark, yes.
It's all open in front of the door. There's no point to hold. We'll be immediately set upon from all sides.
I
It will
may
take
be
them a
able.
while to bring us down, but they will eventually.
I have a supply of oil flasks. Needs be. Could light a region on fire. Hold the hordes that way.
But
might-
wait, you said wall, right? I have that
Hmm?
little the bellows that Ira gave me.
Fellows.
How about a wall of wind?
Oh.
It's possible if Griveth can turn enough of them away from the door, that may be all the time we need. We won't be able to take our time or be cautious with the door, but
Why bother once we get the literal opening?
Well, we don't know if it's locked or not. We don't know what the condition of the door is, if we're going to be able to
No.
shut it behind us.
I was assuming you'd bring the key.
Well, that may be the case, but we want to be able to shut it behind us. Otherwise, going through there could be worse than we're already. worse
Right,
than we
I
already are.
mean,
If we destroy the door, they'll just follow us in.
It will at least constrain their approach. A door we can hold.
True.
Cantriel, you have your small dragon friend. Could he see what this door looks like before we head down there.
Well, I suppose he could, provided he's not snatched by one of those things.
Well, of course, I don't want to put him in any danger.
I mean, Verdi out of everyone is a little bit more, non-expendable.
How about your invisible servant? They wouldn't see it.
Yes, but Noorman doesn't exactly, communicate. He's more the silent type.
Ah.
Well, we always have the possibility of going down there and just playing it by ear.
Feels highly unlikely the door will simply be open, but perhaps it is. If it isn't, and we have to break it in, where does that leave us? That leaves us dealing with whatever is on the other side of the door, as well as a horde of undead.
Well, how are you getting us down there?
I can create a doorway.
So we go through the doorway and can block off some of it with the wall. Griveth can call forth his divine power, push as many away as possible from that side. We can check the door. If it's locked, Talmud and I can just hammer away at it until it opens.
I can't open the full gateway until there's a space for the gate to exist. If the zombies are in the way, it will foil my magic. I can do something similar to what Fig and Talmud with his cloak do, to bring at least Griveth down there. And then I can open a doorway that will bring everyone else down as well.
I mean, we've got rope, so worst case scenario, we always scale down, save the magic.
We could, but that does leave us fighting our way across the cavern floor through the horde.
Drown, give me an insight check.
Insight?
Yeah.
All right. Who's here? 5, I do believe. Yep, that's a 5.
Okay.
I got a -1 to the roll.
I know, I was rolling for you the other week.
Nah.
150, 155, 159. Okay. Just looking at how many domain dice you had up above your head.
A lot.
Yeah, we started this game, you had 111 domain dice. And thanks to this wonderful chat, before we had even been on the air for 30 minutes, you were at 159. I had to make a new text box to put new numbers in.
I suppose we can't let all that generosity go to waste. I'll burn one and reroll.
No.
That's all.
And
I
hey,
want.
I did well this time. That's a 16.
Okay, that is enough for you. You and Gerithan are the only two that actually have had a good look at the floor of this chasm. You, just because you could clearly see it, and when you were sort of studying things, Gerithan sort of got an up close and personal look at it, though under duress. And Talmud wasn't Talmud. But you know that despite the fact that there's easily a couple hundred undead shambling around down there, they only take up about 40 to 50% of the overall floor space down there. So it's not literally like shoulder to shoulder undead down there. There's social distancing. They're at least 6 feet apart.
Okay. Well, that changes things. When you said
Right.
that they were covering everything. I'm like, all right.
They're shifting around. So there's times where like they'll sort of bunch up into almost like a corpse mound and sort of crawling all over each other, and it kind of moves through in waves. But there's large sections.
Right. So we just watch for our opportunity, and there'll be times when there's a clear enough space near the door.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Strike all of that. I'll be able to open a doorway that'll bring us down, and then we can deal with what we have to.
All right. So strike that. Well, wind wall. Griveth uses his divine power. Dwarves crush a door.
If necessary, we may be able to step out of the portal and do everything we need to do.
And if the door isn't too badly damaged, I could always try and at least mend it enough so it holds.
Before we go down, Griveth is going to cast a spell. He's going to call on the spirit of Meepo to protect his friends and allies. And Meepo is going to give Gerithan, Drown, and Cantriel 10 extra hit points. That is not temporary hit points. That's your maximum increases by 10 for 8 hours.
What is that called again?
Aid.
Aid, yeah.
Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. So when you heal, you can heal back up that extra 10. It's not like temporary that go away and they don't come back. Yeah. And you get the 10 now. Yeah. So Meepo is with you.
Meepo was our kobold friend for a little while in the Sunless Citadel, who met his tragic end at the business end of a white dragon wormling, which Griveth now wears as white dragon scale armor, and Talmud has taken on the spirit of Meepo as one of his ancestral spirits. Meepo is gone but never forgotten. Okay.
Then we have some semblance of a plan for the morning, such as it is.
I think this might be an actual first.
Yeah, I like this plan. Let's do it.
I can't wait to see how it falls apart. I think the question was posed last week, and just to reiterate it, if you have effects or magic items that recharge at dawn, this counts as that. This counts as the dawn. I wanted to make sure you guys knew that. So this is one of those rare, you get a chance to basically fully heal up, get all your everything back. Not at all because things are going to get tough.
To be honest, I'd kind of forgotten what it looked like.
It's been a while. Welcome to level 11. So, unless you have anything else that you wanted to discuss or deal with, we can sort of fast forward to the end of the rest. You are able to all get your sleep uninterrupted. It's up to you whether or not you choose to maintain a fire watch or an undead watch, as it were, though those would pass uneventfully. And you find yourself waking well rested, and you, shortly after you're all beginning to stir and sort of get your things around, the magical dome that Cantriel summoned just sort of and just fades into nothingness.
Oh, no, it's not so nice and gentle.
Oh, it just happens all of a sudden?
It's more like she'll be like, you need to get out now. And she'll turn it around, watch your head. And the dome starts shrinking in and getting more and more finite. So like you're almost having to like crawl out if you don't leave fast enough. It's very Willy Wonka-esque, but it's very Cantriel.
All right. And of course, with that, You can now hear the continuing sound of that, what sounds like dry leaves rustling, and the distant of all of the undead far below. How would you like to proceed?
All right, well, assuming I can get up to the edge, look down and see the door, I'll just kind of look around.
Well, 1 second. Griveth, come here. And she'll like put her hand on top of his helmet and cast light on it.
Oh, thank you.
A little bit of extra something just in case the sword isn't doing what it needs to do.
Now I have a headlight.
I mean, you're lightheaded.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling like
from a certain angle, it almost looks as though Griveth has a halo.
Nobody give him
Anyone
a mirror.
else? Anyone else need a light?
Thank you, Cantriel.
You're reading far too much into it.
He literally got lightheaded.
All right.
If there's nothing else then, Drown will sort of look around and ready. So he'll just kind of watch, wait for the moment when there's a... so basically, I just need a 10-foot diameter circle, and it's a vertical circle. So just in that line where it's going to appear, there can't be any creatures. So when there's a gap in the wandering hordes, then Drown will cast its spell. His eyes shine with that shimmering green sea light, and that light runs down his tattoos, and they start to writhe, and those watery energy tentacles kind of lift up off of his arms. He drives one hand into the air in front of him into a crackling green glow. His fingers disappear into it. Then the other one, and he starts ripping them apart from each other. He grits his teeth. You can hear his muscles straining, and the tentacles around his arms reach in and start tearing the hole wider until it is a shimmering, deep sea. It looks a little bit like a Stargate, honestly, just a little more green and deep ocean instead of bright blue, and is a great shimmering circular portal that looks like just a wall of deep, dark ocean water. And a similar one, you can see actually his hands kind of appear down by the door and rip the portal open down in the destination. And so he just sort of looks at it and says, "Time to go," and heads in.
There's not actual water in there, is there?
No, get moving.
It looks watery when he goes in.
So can we all pile through?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Talmud
Griveth
is-
charges through.
Absolutely
Yeah, so-
reluctant to do so.
Just for mechanical catch-up, Drown has cast Arcane Gate.
I assumed that's what you were casting.
Cantriel will put her hand over Talmud's eyes. This won't hurt a bit, and she'll kind of nod to there. Just go through now.
He holds his breath and runs through.
When all of you pass through the gate, it's freezing cold, like crushing depths of the ocean cold. It's wet, it feels like water, and you can feel the pressure squeezing and your lungs constricting. And then you're almost instantly stepping out on the other side.
If I was real mean, I'd have you all roll a sanity check. It's like that episode of The Next Generation whenever he went into the teleporter and he saw the...
Yeah. There is definitely a feeling of something watching you, like a deer somewhat spooked in the woods, because you can just sense there's a predator nearby, but it's gone instantly as you pass through.
I hate portals.
Yeah, Gerithan has a little more recent reason to be weary of sudden portals. But you find that you are able to pass through this of your own volition. So everybody passes through the portal then.
So do we take up like a fighting position around Cantriel and Drown so they can deal with the door? Like kind of a semicircle?
Sure.
So-
Because I think I should save my turn on dead unless we may need it later. Unless we need it. Yeah.
I mean, I could just
Yeah,
get the wall
give-
set up, and then whatever's inside the wall itself that we can't keep out, we could always just deal
And
with.
the main issue with the turn undead was to make room for the gate, since that's not.
Right. Right.
So you all, this gate forms and you all emerge through on the other side, and true to your plan, you sort of emerge tactically, spreading out and spreading to the side. As soon as Griveth comes through, both Dawnbringer and the illumination on his helmet casts light across all of these undead. You can already see that, Drown being the first through, that the arcane gate itself casts this sort of spooky, just at near like the edge of light in the sea, almost making this area look as though it's the bottom of a trench in the sea. And you notice that as you get down in there, none of the zombies and skeletons seem to suddenly lurch towards you or anything. In the few moments as you all are taking up position, Drown, go ahead and roll me a d6.
Hold the line, brothers.
2.
2 zombies just sort of accidentally wander into the arcane gate and appear up on the ledge at the far side. And let's see, evens, that's even. Yep. And they both fall off the edge. I gave them a 50% chance that they would either go deeper into that alcove or they would fall off the edge.
Actually, I'm going to be cheeky a moment. Drown concentrates, and the swirling portal up on the ledge, actually from this side, you can't really see it. You can just see kind of the light it's projecting, and you can kind of see the green glow that marks it, but they're one-sided. He concentrates for a moment, and it turns the other way. So now the portal is facing over the cliff.
Nice. So as long and that gate will persist for 10 minutes if you leave it up. And
Can you move the one down here just through this horde and scoop them up?
My plan was to put the portal in front of the door and just leave
Oh,
it. And
there
so
you
if
go.
they wanted to go in, but then we can't have the portal there and deal with the door. So
Yeah.
I would say for however long you leave it up while you're dealing with this door, that every once in a while, as long as nobody is directly aggroing these undead, they don't show a lot of interest in you. They don't actually attack you.
well, that's delightful.
They're just
And
shambling
unexpected.
around, and every once in a while, one or two wander in, and because you moved it, you hear. And the more that happens, large sections of the undead start moving over there just out of curiosity at what is happening. And some of them seem to be drawn to the gate. Not overwhelmingly, so it's not like moths to a flame. But you have seemingly the ability to proceed unhindered with attempting what you're going to do. What are you going to do?
I don't have a lot of experience with the undead, but do they normally just shamble about like that? Kind of looks to everyone.
Don't they kind of need direction?
Usually left to their own devices, they will simply kill anything living they come across. These seem unusually docile.
Maybe we
Gareth?
can look at that door.
I am trained in religion. Can I make a check there, Mr. Jake, sir?
Sure. What are you checking?
To see whether they're acting to the, typical nature of undead.
Sure.
That is a 15.
In your experience, both prolonged and recent. You have, in fact, encountered most undead that will pretty much attack anything that makes a sound or comes into their area. These undead, you can surmise as you are looking over them, they appear to have been here for a very long time. The zombies are so desiccated as to almost appear like mummies. The skeletons are brittle. They rattle as they walk. They don't seem to have a whole lot to them. They're little more than undead cattle.
So I will, deliver that information. They kind of what seems to be lost their purpose. They've been around so long.
Well, I won't look and gift zombie in the rotting, stinking mouth. And instead, I will take a little time to investigate the door, see if it's trapped.
All right, go ahead and make an investigation check.
That's an 18.
You are very sure that this door is not trapped.
I will try the handle.
You are also certain that it is unlocked.
I trust this less and less. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to open it?
I'm opening it.
Okay. You open the door, and it is, like many of the doors you have been encountering here, this is a stone door, and it does make a bit of a stone grating on stone sound as it opens up. Nothing too loud, similar to other doors you've passed through. And as you open it, there's this... And you see on the other side that there is an area that looks to be about 10 feet by 10 feet, 10 feet wide by 20 feet long.
So, like, hallway style?
Yes.
Okay. I move into said hallway.
Do we head in?
Yeah. I go just inside and then step out of the doorway to let everybody move in.
All right. Does everybody move in?
Let's move.
Did you say that there were like doors in here?
Nope.
It's just an area?
Yeah.
Is there any egress?
Not that you can see. Except straight up, it appears to be almost like a chimney, so to speak, where the cavern walls are smooth and stone, rising a ways up.
Does it look like the floor may be like the floor of an elevator, perhaps?
I mean,
we come
it
in
looks
here and
like
it's
the
just gonna.
floor. I mean, if you want to start investigating the floor, sure, go ahead. I'll go in. Okay.
I have this, I have an image of Cantriel being like, shoo, everybody, just hurting
It's
everyone
like, I
through
don't
the
know,
door.
I
This is
don't-
why we're here. Let's go. Come on. 1, 2, 3 feet in front.
I just don't know if. All right.
Every time you start questioning, bad things happen. Just push, go.
All right. So everybody moves in.
The dwarves are kind of like making sure everybody gets through, holding the line.
All right. It only takes a moment. There's only 6 of you, and everybody's able to move into this space. So after just a moment, everybody moves in past you, Drown. Do you leave the door?
Once
You shut the door?
Shutting it once everyone's in. Yeah.
You shut the door, and as you do so, this entire area is illuminated by Griveth's glowing helm and the Dawnbringer. And Drown, you can actually see, looking up with your superior vision, you see that it looks like the ceiling goes up about 120, 130 feet, just like the chasm. The walls on three of the sides, you have where the door is. When the door closes, you notice that aside from on this side where there was a recess in for you to grab the door, it's flush. All the walls are smooth. And as you pull the latch shut, you are looking up and you see suddenly that 130 feet is 120, 110, 190, 80, and you all feel a lurch in your stomach as you begin rising rapidly. Drown, you notice that the ceiling is also covered in spikes. And I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw.
Good thing we have 159 domain dice.
Well, it's 160 now.
Oh, jeez.
That's a 23 for Cantriel.
We're all packed in tightly because we're close to Griveth, right?
20 for drown and burn to domain die.
Yeah, everybody gets a +3 to your roll because of drown.
I will spend a
Or
domain
sorry,
die
because
as well.
of Griveth. I don't know why I said drown.
Using
Yeah,
a domain die, I got 18.
I
Drown
also
does not
used a
give you
die.
bonuses.
Put me at 19.
Using a domain die, I'm at 19.
It's a
Hey.
fireworks show now.
Talmud?
I did not have to use a domain die, and I got
Me
a dirty
either.
20.
Hey.
The timeout
See?
twins didn't have to.
See, somebody asked earlier, what in the heck are they going to do with 155 plus domain dice? That's what they're going to do. Did anybody roll under an 18? I think all of you got 18 or above. Everybody is able to, I imagine Drown giving a quick word of warning, maybe grabbing one or two people and throwing them down. In just seconds, the stone floor lurches to a stop fast enough that all of you sort of go and raise up a couple inches and come slamming down. If you had stayed standing, even the dwarves, you realize that you would have become impaled on many spikes across the ceiling. After a moment, the floor sort of begins to descend just a little bit until it ends up dropping about 20 feet. And you see on the western wall, as it starts to come to a stop, another smooth interior door with one of those recessed handles similar to the other door.
Well, that was quite a ride. Jeez.
Drown will just kind of lay on his back for a moment, drum his fingers, and let out a long breath, and then just sit straight up, like, and just pick himself up, dust off, and head over toward the door.
You had to be worried. That was going to be you first, pal.
I was, yes. I didn't
Gerithan,
think laying down would be good enough.
Gerithan just looks over at Cantriel and he's like, "This is what I was worried about."
Thanks for speaking up.
You're with the Dawnbringers. Everything's worth worrying about. Hate to break it to you.
And yet, we found a door to proceed. It will probably also try to kill us. Welcome
Or
to the
eat us.
Dawnbringers.
That's what we expect by now, isn't it?
That's our only way, so I guess that's it.
Do we want Noorman? I can get Noorman. Noorman can open the door if we want to be sure. Fine. No, Noorman, darling, please come back out. And she'll summon Noorman. And you get just that little sort of like dust devil whirlwind next to her. And then you just almost hear like a shuffle step.
All right. Noorman the doorman, the unseen servant, will move over to the door and The door swings open. What you see immediately before you is a nearly 100-foot long hallway that is 20 feet wide. You see actually only Drown can you see at the far end of this hallway that it curves to the left. There is a door on the furthest most wall and also on the northern wall in that corner. You also see that the hallway goes over 100 feet to the south. Looks like about maybe 120 feet. 20 feet wide. This hallway ends in a set of double doors that Drown only you can see are carved with dragons and look identical to the double doors that you passed through from the passage where you fought the hags that led to the core.
But this isn't that hallway.
It's a different hallway.
Okay.
You would all sort of know, and I think Cantriel, just with your ranger senses, would know that overall, since you left the Thif and the good Girlons, that you have basically been moving in a sort of anti-clockwise fashion through the catacombs. And seeing this double door, you can sort of put two and two together and realize you are potentially at the direct opposite side of where you were before. So you have a long hallway leading to double dragon doors to the south and a hallway leading to the west with at least two doors that you can see. How would you like to proceed?
So Talmud has switched out for Ghost Cleaver, and he's kind of looking at the rest and seeing that everybody's just taking this kind of time to study. He's going to say, so where should we go? I'll lead, I'm fine with that, but I need a direction.
Well, Noorman will go in front of you, and then you smash anything that Noorman might unveil. Whatever's closest at this point.
Shall we try the massive dragon doors first?
You're the only one who can see those, right?
Yeah, he'll relay what's down the long hallways.
Yeah, so once Drown kind of points out where they're out, Talmud will kind of give Noorman the Doorman a moment's head start and then head that direction, unable to see where he actually is.
So, how do you know when he's going? Talmud.
I'm just trusting that she told him to go. Maybe we need to get like a bell or something for him to wear.
I have one in my pocket. If you really want the sound of him jingling along the hallway and alerting everyone.
He kind of looks pointedly at Griveth.
To be fair, me as well. Not the stealthiest of the bunch here.
Unfortunately, that's very true.
And it ain't the armor, it's the weapons.
Well, I mean, speak for yourself.
Oh, I am. And then there's, Cousin's loudmouth over here.
He just turns and heads off that direction.
That's our cue.
So you're all heading first to the south to the double dragon doors?
Yeah.
All right. Well, as I said, it's about 120 feet down to that area. Once you get there, there's the very large stone doors, intricately carved, with dragons in a sort of bas relief, and Noorman seems to have sort of picked up on the, at least waiting for Talmud. And about the time Talmud gets there, Noorman opens the door, and one side opens up. And you see inside a room very similar to the one you saw before, though you can tell its orientation is a little different because you're facing south. This also is a plain stone room. It's bare. There's stone dust everywhere. One wall to the south has a distinct curve to it, and on one wall there is an iron box, which is completely featureless except for the lightly engraved dragon curling around a keyhole. This appears, for all intents and purposes, to be another potential entrance to the core.
Perhaps the core is much like the tower itself, very tall or has multiple floors. Side door then?
It would make sense that he would want to leave himself more than one way in and out. So yeah, I think I don't think we have a choice. We don't have the last piece, so we'll go to the next one then.
All right, so this hallway went all the way to the south and only to these double doors, so you'd have to go backtrack back to where you came out of the elevator shaft, and instead go down the hallway to the west. When you do this, you will encounter the first door you'll encounter will be on the north wall. This, and then there's also about 15 feet away, well, 10 feet in front of you on the west wall is that other door that Drown could see and you can all see as you walk up. But by the time you get there, you see that the hall curves and goes another 50 feet to the south, where there are another 7 doors, 3 on either side and 1 in the south. Welcome, Dawnbringers.
Do they just look like normal doors that we've been seeing around here? Do they look like tomb vaults or something like that?
The spacing, I would say that the spacing on these doors and the close proximity and the fact that you know that you're in catacombs, it lines up pretty close with what you've already seen. It's very much, most likely these are crypts. So there is a total of 9 doors available to you.
Drown will just sort of glance over to Cantriel and then look at the doors.
God, I hate this. Do any of them have any engraving or anything on them? In Draconic or of the Elvish sort, maybe?
From where you are here, let me check this one. Okay. The door on the north, which is the closest one to you, as you were walking down this hall, it would have been on your right, is carved with dragons. It's a standard size stone door, carved with dragons, very similar to the one in the smaller catacomb chamber where you encountered the mimics, the one that had the dragon pedestal that you had to fight to get the key. It's very similar to that. The doors up and down this hallway and at the far end all have various faded carvings that you would have to get closer and inspect, but they're nowhere near as elaborate as what's on this door.
Noorman, that one, please, first.
Okay. This door opens up. It is not locked. Noorman opens it up. Inside, you see a chamber that this door appears to be in the southeastern corner. But you do see that it is about 15 feet into the room, and the room itself is 25 feet wide. You can make out inside the room, on the east wall, just ahead and to the right, another door with a dragon carving on it. Otherwise, this room appears empty.
Not the same dragon carving as the big double door, right?
No, the same dragon carving as the door that was just opened.
Got it.
I'm going to build a house with something that's called an open floor plan. And, oh God, we have to check for traps because of this lovely place. Probably
I'll
have
check
it. What?
I'll check it.
Okay.
If you like.
All right, you're going to check the door? Drown, I need a
Yes.
dexterity saving throw as the
Of
floor
course.
breaks away beneath you in front of the door.
Right. Well, we'll just go ahead and make that a dex save instead of an investigation check. So close to Griveth or not?
If everybody followed into the room, then Griveth would be close enough.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Then that gives me a 22.
Your feet drop out below you as the floor drops out, and you immediately reach your arms out, and you just sort of, there's that, as you just using your upper and forearm strength, hold yourself there. It's a moment later before you hear the broken pieces of floor hit. This pit appears to go all the way down.
Yeah.
Hold on, brother. We reach out and grab Drown, pull him up.
Drown your.
Yeah, it almost is like a
muted.
grabbing of the collar type thing.
Drown just sort of holds himself there, like by his elbows, and just says, staring straight ahead, I am going to enjoy ripping this vampire's jaw off and beating him to death with it. And he just heaves himself up out of the pit.
That's the
I
spirit.
like your style.
I am glad that they are mad at the vampire Gothias and not the DM. So now the door is still there, but there's also a 10-foot opening in the floor just in front of it. So opening the door becomes a little bit more of a challenge. So you can continue if you want to investigate it. I'm going to say it's going to be at disadvantage because of the just not having to work around the pit.
Could I like mend a little footpath to the door? No, I tried.
I was gonna say, because the pieces are all 100 feet down at the bottom.
I know. It was,
it was a good effort.
outside the box thinking, hey.
Gerithan, can you open the door?
Can I open the door?
How
Try
about
to
we have
open the door.
Noorman open the door? Noorman can open the door.
I can move it too.
Did you just see what happened here? He's here for a reason.
I meant with his mind.
Yeah, with my
Yes.
mind. I'm not gonna walk up there.
You open doors with your
So,
mind?
Drown, do you
Of
want
course.
a necklace made out of this dude's teeth when we're done?
I don't think that will be necessary. Not for me, anyway.
So is Gerithan or Noorman opening the door, or is it like a combined effort?
I can kind of see a little bit of it being both.
Yeah, Gerithan will definitely put
I
his,
see
his hand up
Gerithan
there.
using the mental mage hand, just sort of gently push Noorman out of the way to open the door. Nonetheless, the door does open, revealing on the other side of this pit that there is another room nearly identical in size and shape. But of course, the most notable difference is in the center of the tiled floor of this room is a small pedestal carved to resemble a rearing dragon. The stony maw of the dragon grasps a small metallic object.
Oh, well, look at that.
So, do we toss something across the floor to see if it's going to give out again?
How far away was the key?
Yeah, how far away is the pedestal?
So the key would be 5, 10, 15. Counting the 10 foot of the trapped floor is about 25 feet away.
Aha!
That by 10
within
feet of
range.
the trapped floor, I mean the open pit. I'm not doing that thing where I accidentally reveal. As you walk up to the trapped fountain. Oh my gosh, I will never forget that. Season 1, Sunless Citadel. No, I didn't say trap
That was
fountain.
great.
No, as you
I
walk
turn
up to the
around and
fountain-
don't walk to the trap fountain.
One of the perils of running a module.
And it's nice that it's labeled clearly for you, trapped fountain. However,
Oh, yeah.
put a
So
sign
I
on there,
wanted to make
trap
it
fountain.
clear that I wasn't revealing a hidden trap, that it's the trap you are aware of. It's about 25 feet to this pedestal and the key.
I can pick that up.
More mind grabbing, yes.
By all means, go for it.
Do we think it's going to set anything off?
Yes.
Most likely.
Very handy.
Well, brace.
The last one had a freaking giant skull that shot death rays at us.
That's right. Well, there's only one way to find out.
We could tie a
Great.
rope to you and yank you out of the way if something happens.
I'll manage.
All right.
Yeah, Gerithan will
I
will
offered.
lift the will lift the key with
Using the mental mage hand.
with the mage hand.
You reach out and you find that this key does not budge.
Gerithan will pull harder with his mind.
You pull harder. You see Gerithan. You see these little vein appear at the side of his temple, tightening up. You can almost hear his teeth cracking as he's
scanning it.
clenching his teeth, and
I can't move
it looks like any moment his head's going to explode.
Yeah,
but-
I just let up the effort.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
not
can't.
budging.
It's not budging, guys.
Does it
Do I
move
think-
at all, Jake? Like, is it grabbing it?
Not
and
even a
tugging
little
and
bit.
Just, it's not even a little bit.
Now, do you have sensory control with that hand? Like, do you know if there's really something there, or or are you having magic that could be interacting with an illusion and you wouldn't have a clue?
Yeah, that could very well be the case. I don't think I can divine that from.
No, you can't feel through the mage hand. You could grab something else and see if it's solid. Like flick a pebble at it or something.
Yeah, I guess it's invisible, but yeah, if I can like swoosh up a little bit of cracked stone and like flick it at the key, what happens?
It makes it makes a metallic sound as the stone hits the key.
Hmm.
Talmud is going to take the rod they found with the two horses on the other end, the immovable rod, and he's going to tie a rope to it and tuck it vertically in his belt. Basically, tie a knot at the top of his belt and at the bottom of his belt, so that his belt kind of goes like this, and the vertical rod is sitting like at his spine. That makes sense.
Okay.
And I'm going to like just hand the rest of the coil of the rope off to someone, preferably somebody with decent strength.
I'll take it.
Party.
Yeah. And then he's going to back up a bit, and he's going to take a running jump.
Okay, so you're just jumping over the pit.
Easily clears the pit and lands on the other pit.
What is your strength?
Silly.
It's like stupid high, isn't it?
18.
Oh, yeah.
So not stupid high, but high.
Yeah, I'm not even going to make you roll for that. You can clear that jump easily enough. You land on the other side on the tiled floor of this room. You feel the cold, smooth tiles. And you sort of, as you land, you just sort of, because it's so smooth, you slide about 6 inches. And nothing happens.
He kind of, after nothing happens, he kind of like has been like holding still. He then like kind of turns and looks back over his shoulder at everyone else. Okay, so far so good.
I will make a psi-powered leap and use my psionic energy to just hurl myself over the pit.
So as Talmud moves forward, I'm going to get live up the slack on the rope, but keep enough that I can hold on to it tightly if something happens.
All right. Gerithan, you're able to easily clear that as well using your psi-powered leap. You land in next to Talmud. You're now both in this tiled room with the pedestal.
So now that we're in this room where we can kind of see like past what the hallway would let us see or the doorway would let us see, is there any other features kind of on the sides or anything that jump out at us? That was a poor phrasing of words. That we recognize.
No, you can see the entire room is roughly 15 feet by 25 feet, and it's tiled. There's some mosaics of dragons on the tiles, very similar to what you've seen in the other spaces. This pedestal is identical to the one you fought, except that it's small. It's not large-sized like that one was.
No
Can I inspect the pedestal?
Sure. Give me an investigation check.
Let's check die. 8. Wait, there's a bonus to that. Okay, 11.
You can see that the pedestal, carved to look like a rearing dragon, it rises about maybe 5 feet high, placing the key that's in the jaw just a little below eye line. You can see this key fragment inside the jaw. The stone jaw is carved enough that it seems to be gripping onto this key, and it just looks like it has to be like sort of like worked through the jaw to pull it out. It's sort of wedged in there, and that's probably why your psionic hand couldn't pull it free.
Does it look fairly straightforward, or is this like it's like jammed in there like one of those little puzzles you can get where it's like you gotta figure out how to...
I mean, yeah, it looks pretty straightforward. It just looks like it's wedged up in there. There's not like you gotta like twist it this way, turn it, pull. It's not a slide puzzle or whatever.
I slide it out.
All right. I need a dexterity saving throw from Talmud and Gerithan. And Talmud, this is not something you could see coming. Okay. It just happens. And Gerithan, you're going to be at disadvantage.
Oh. Well. Right.
It's a 15.
I do have a question. If you're at disadvantage and you use a domain die,
does it even out that?
It would just make it like you can make it a straight roll.
You're basically rolling at advantage at that point.
Okay.
Oh, those are the wrong dice.
I guess I'll So should I do that before the roll then to cancel that out, or how would that work?
What do you mean?
Like
That's
if I
your
want
call.
to,
You can roll, see the number, and decide, no, I want to roll it again, or you can just take it right off the bat.
Yeah, I'll roll first. Think later. Yeah, I'm gonna roll again.
All right, I gotta do a little switching with the domain dice here. So that takes
I
you
rolled
down
an
to
18 and a 2 on that
155.
roll right there. So
That's gonna put you.
hey, yeah, that's better.
At
Dex save
150.
22.
Okay. And Talmud, what'd you get?
15.
Talmud, you fail as Gerithan grabs the key fragment, and as soon as you do, a burst of electrical energy shoots out from the pedestal, electrifying the entire room, lightning arcing everywhere, coursing through Gerithan, who seems to resist a big amount of it. But Talmud, you get a full blast. Those of you looking in, you see lightning arc up from the floor. You see Talmud's hair stand up on end, his beard shoot out like this, and
You
as
see
you
his
are
skeleton
taking
for a second.
6d12 of lightning damage.
Can
Oh
I
no!
can I yank Talmud back on the rope?
7.
I
Not,
want
not
to-
enough to mitigate the damage because
Okay,
it happened so fast. So
gotcha.
that's 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 19, 20, 21, 22. I rolled all 3s and 4s. 22 points Talmud, 11 points Gerithan of lightning
Talmud,
damage.
You take 13 less points as I use my protective field
So you take
to
9
redirect parts of this.
Yeah, you take 9 points then, Talmud.
And I rolled the max, but now my die is decreased.
But with this
Thank you.
single burst of electric discharge, Gerithan, you now hold in your hand the 4th and final key fragment of the dragon key. From down the hall, Cantriel, Drown, Griveth, and Thorgarn, through the open door, the picture as Gerithan is holding this key fragment, we see, or rather we hear this, and the camera sort of moves past all of you as your heads are turning to look down this hall with all of the doors lining across it. And that far door that is about 60 feet or so away, and suddenly the door explodes outward. Part of the wall breaks free. And those of you that are in the antechamber that has the trapped floor in it, you see breaking through the wall what almost looks like moving chunks of stone. Something ducks low, passes through the opening, placing its hands on either side of the 10-foot wide hallway, as you see a massive golem that seems to be made of tombstones and sarcophagi. And that is where we're going to take our break.
Son of a bitch.
I doubt it.
Well, hey, you never know.
All
We'll
right.
check the handwriting.
So with that, we are going to go ahead and take about a 10-minute break. We will be back in roughly 10 minutes. I just realized I never set up the timer on this when I rebuilt the thing, but no worry. We'll see you back here at roughly 15 to 20 after the hour. So please, first of all, thank you everybody just for being so awesome in chat tonight. And please stick around. We're going to see what happens when we get on the other side of this break. And we're back. All right. When we left off just a moment ago, there was a, and I think we haven't done this in a while, so we're going to do this. That is the wrong button. We're going to do this. And we're going to go like this, and there we go. I'm going to give you a little bit of a clear idea of where you are. You are not where the red arrow is. That's where you were when you woke up from your nap, your long rest. You came through here. This area was the elevator. Down here was the dragon door. You went down here, went in here, and you got yourselves a new key and a couple of electrified party members. And it's this door down here at the end of the hall where you hear the rumbling, and you just saw this massive tombstone looking golem appear at the end of the hall. I'm going to put the arrow up here for where you all are. This way you all have a kind of a sense of what you're dealing with this hallway here. Doors on either side. And the golem down there. So, with that information, okay, my stream deck won't let me go back. We'll try this. With that information, I would like you all to roll for initiative.
So are we looking to try and move so we don't have our backs to a nice, happy little hole?
Depending on how it works out, sure, but we'll see if the golem gives us the option.
Okay. That's never happened before, but my stream deck just quit. All right. I will get your numbers here in just a moment. Let's see. Thorgarn, what did you get?
I got a 17.
All right. Cantriel.
Also 17.
Griveth.
I got a 19.
Talmud.
Hold your horses. Talmud got a 21.
Whoa. Drown.
15.
Gerithan.
And
And I need to roll for old Stony here. That's gonna be, oh, that's a minus. Okay. So here we are with Talmud at the top of the order. Talmud, you can only faintly hear this rumbling sound. You've just been electrocuted. And you are in the room here. Your hair and beard, all the hairs on your arms are standing there. You're a little... What would you like to do?
Yeah, he's like cursing through clenched teeth because his jaw is like involuntarily like tensed, and he kind of like has to force all of his muscles to kind of relax a little, and they're kind of twitchy. And then it registers that there was a really loud noise that wasn't involved in him getting electrocuted with lightning. And he turns to the doorway to look back that direction and try to see what's going on. And he's going to shout out at everyone. Somebody going through another door, or